So, you finally open the dashboard you've built during the week and boom, numbers don't match. The reports take forever to load and everyone keeps asking you questions about what this data means, that data is about, and you have to make tweaks again and again. Sounds familiar, right? That's either because you don't have a self-service reporting framework in place, or you don't even have a data model, or just because your business made some of the mistakes while building that data model. If you're not yet familiar with what data modeling is, watch the first video in this series right here. Look, wrong data models break reports, waste hours of manual work, and worst of all, lead to bad business decisions that by itself cause lost revenue. But here's the thing. Most businesses do not even realize their data model might be a problem. Hey there, I'm Yevgen from OWOX. On this channel, we speak all things about analytics, data, reporting, spreadsheets and warehouses, and all sorts of data manipulation. So today, I'm going to explore here with you the 8 biggest data modeling mistakes, all with examples, the ones that make reporting slow, messy, and unreliable. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to fix them so your reports are accurate, useful, reliable, and actually even self-service for business users. So, stick around with me because by the end of this video, you will know how to turn your data model into a powerful asset that drives real business decisions without the headaches. And you, as a data analyst, become the central person of the whole reporting system, the brain. Oh, and before we jump in, if you're serious about fixing your reporting problems or just want to build a solid reporting system, hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss analytic dive deeps like this one. Alright, let's get started. Let's talk about mistake number 1, not involving all the right people. Imagine you are throwing a party but you only invite half the guests. Awkward, right? Well, the same thing happens when you don't involve all the stakeholders in your data modeling process. Here's the deal. If you only talk to the execs and forget the people who will actually use the reports like sales managers or field reps, your data model might look great on paper, but it will flop in real life. Take this example. A sales company builds a data model with input from finance and execs. They were planning to use this data model to build reports about revenue and deal closure. The finance team gave their input, execs tell what they would need to report on. That sounds good, right? Oh yes, but here is the problem. The sales team needs regional trends and individual performance metrics, which were not included in those objects of the model. Since those are missing, they ditch the dashboard and go back to their manual tracking spreadsheets that do not update on schedule. Ouch! So, how to fix this? Simple. Get everyone in the room. Okay, 2025, I get it. The virtual room. Get everyone on Zoom call, the chat, whatever. That means end users and department heads, anyone who is going to touch this data, these reports, at least in the nearest future. Have those conversations early. Align on what metrics matter and by which dimensions what they need to segment those metrics, and make sure everyone is on the same page. In our example, the company went back, involved the sales team, and updated the model to include and be able to therefore report on daily sales, deal stages, and rep performance. Now, the dashboards and reports that are generated from this model are actually useful, and the sales team, all of the reports they get, all of the sales questions they can ask and get the answers. So, win-win. Moral of the story? Do not build a data model in vacuum. Involve the right people and you will get the recognition you deserve and save yourself a ton of headaches later. Up next, mistake number 2, naming house. Trust me, it's doozy. Not having standardized metrics definitions. Imagine this, you are at the family dinner and everyone is calling the same dish by a different name. Grandma calls it pot roast, your dad calls it beef stew, and your little cousin calls it that brown thing. Confusing, right? Well, that is exactly what happens when different teams use different names for the same data points. Look, I like telling stories, so we will take one more example. We'll take a lot of the examples today. A B2B sales company reports on leads, deals, and revenue across multiple teams. But here is the kicker. Finance calls revenue total sales. Sales calls it deal amount. Marketing tracks lead by a unique lead ID, but sales uses customer ID. And IT? Well, they just throw in a system-generated names like sales amount 001. It's house, right? Reports values do not match up. Teams cannot collaborate to increase those sales, and everyone's wasting time trying to figure out what that sales amount 001 even means. So, how do you fix this? Simple. Standardize your matrix definitions. Create a data dictionary that documents what each term means and make sure that everyone sticks to it. And look, we live in the age of AI. You do not need to waste days or even hours on giving all metrics the names. OWOX BI will do all of the heavy lifting for you. So start using it for free, reuse your existing SQLs, give your metrics the names, model your data in a way that is aligned with reporting needs and business goals, and make sure your business data is widely accessible across all teams and departments so they make decisions that drive real business growth. Great. In our example, the B2B company now got everyone on the same page. They are aligned on total sales for revenue, lead ID for leads, and sales rep for the closers. Now, all the reports actually make sense, have the same numbers, teams collaborate, and no one is stuck on what sales amount 001 means. Moral of this story? Do not let your reports turn into a game. Guess the name. Standardize your terms, metrics, definitions, and you will save everyone, literally everyone, a ton of time and frustration. You can start using OWOX BI for free right now. Centralize all of your metrics definitions, build your data model, craft trusted data marks for reporting, and really empower your business to have a self-service analytics system that just works. I'll leave a link in the description to this video. So now let's talk about the mistake number 3, incorrect relationships granularity. Imagine you are packing for a trip. If you overpack, your suitcase is bursting at the seams and you cannot find anything. But if you underpack it, you are stuck without essentials. Well, data modeling is the same. Too much detail, your reports will be slower than a sloth on vacation. Too little, you will miss key insights. Take another example. A retail company adds every single transaction with all of the payment details to each of the reports. That sounds bad, right? By design. So the problem is this. Their reports take forever to load, and finance cannot get the high-level summaries they often need. On the flip side, if they do not track enough detail, like having the possibility to report on regional or product breakdowns, they will miss trends that could drive sales. So, how do you, as an analyst, fix this? Simple. Find the sweet spot. Define your reporting needs upfront. Work with stakeholders to figure out the level of detail they would actually need. Use aggregated tables for faster performance, but keep raw data handy for deeper analysis. Just link them aside, not to the main business-ready data table. In our example, the retail company updated their model to include just the regional and product breakdowns. Now, they get high-level summaries for finance and trends for sales. So, do not overpack or underpack your data model. Find the right balance and your reports will be fast, accurate, and actually useful. Up next, let's dive into mistake number 4, misdefining relationships and overusing array fields. Trust me, it's a tangled mess. Imagine you are trying to untangle a ball of yarn after a cat's been in it. Frustrating, right? Well, that is what happens when you misdefine relationships or overuse array fields in your data model. Okay, sometimes they are called record fields or nested fields. Here's the deal. Many-to-many relationships are easy to set up, but when things get complex, that becomes a problem. not having the primary keys, foreign keys. Instead of properly defining relationships, they shove everything into array fields. Seems simpler at first, but it's a ticking time bomb. Take another example. A data model with, so to say, marketing context trying to report on customer interactions. Instead of creating a separate table for pages, sessions, users, events, they query the raw Google Analytics 4 export table in BigQuery with all of those repeated and nested fields for every report. And it sounds easy, right? It's one source table. The same partition table for all the things going around the website and apps. But here is the deal. As the amount of data grows, filtering and grouping those interactions becomes a nightmare. Plus, it's expensive to query raw data every single time. Marketing teams cannot generate detailed performance reports and insights are incomplete. So, how do we fix this? Stop taking shortcuts. One table is not better than many. In fact, it's harder to query the single big table instead of a few structured and connected smaller ones. So, build a simple data model with few objects, sessions, events, clicks, users, you name it, based on your business and your specific task. Use proper primary and foreign keys, one-to-one, one-to-many relationships to link those model objects correctly. In our example, the company moved from querying one big export table and built a data model from our OWOX BI template with just 8 objects. Now, they can easily query their data to get reports that answer their business questions every time. Then, they filter, group, and analyze interactions without breaking a sweat. Moral of the story? Do not let the way the data is structured now hurt your reporting in the future and make it a mess. Build more tables, set schedules, define relationships properly, and you will save yourself a ton of headaches later. Next, mistake number 5, overcomplicating the data model. Ever tried reading a map filled with unnecessary details? It's overwhelming. The same goes for overcomplicated data models. Too many unnecessary tables that no one really uses for reporting, complex relationships that require many joins or worse, multiple potential join paths, and redundant fields can make it nearly impossible to maintain. Take this example. A company tries to model every single customer interaction down to the smallest detail, creating hundreds of tables. The result? Nobody understands the model. Analysts struggle to build reports. Self-service analytics is impossible. And querying the database takes hours and it is a nightmare. So, how to fix it? Number 1. Keep the model as simple as possible while maintaining its power. Number 2. Focus on business needs. Do not model things that you don't need to report on. A clean, minimal data model is a usable data model. Up next, mistake number 6, not documenting the data model. Imagine trying to build IKEA furniture without instructions. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's what happens when a data model isn't documented or, so to say, semantized. But look, you do not have to do it yourself, you just need to select the right instrument. Here's the deal. Data models evolve over time, and without documentation, chances are nobody knows what's going on. New analysts waste weeks trying to understand the model. Teams duplicate work, and when the person who built it leaves, house. How to fix it? Easy. Select the tool that does all of the heavy lifting instead of you. That would maintain clear documentation for every object, relationship, and transformation by itself, so you just approve it or add it. Use data dictionaries to standardize matrix definitions, and last but not least, the tool should keep relationship diagram updated in front of you so everyone can see how things are connected. If nobody understands the model, it's useless. So make sure it's documented well and avoid unnecessary confusion. Up next, let's talk about mistake number 7, failing to validate reports built on the models against raw data. Trust me, this one is a sneaky troublemaker. Imagine you're baking a cake. You follow the recipe, pop it in the oven, and assume it's perfect, without even tasting it. Well, you cannot taste a cake, right? but then you serve it only to find out it's undercooked. Awkward, right? Well, that's what happens when you assume your data model is correct without validating reports that might be built based on it against the raw data. Look, just because your model is built without errors doesn't mean it's accurate. If you do not check the reports as the results of that model against the raw data, the source data, you could end up with reports that do not match reality. How do you fix this? Well, simple. You go and validate it. You cross-check sample records against the source database. Compare some broad metrics like total revenue, ROAS, or something like this from the final reports with historical data to spot discrepancies. So, do not serve the cake without tasting it first. Even 1% of difference across reports built on different sources can result in thousands of dollars in lost revenue. Validate the reports built from the data model and you will avoid embarrassing and costly mistakes. And the final mistake from me for today, forgetting about data governance. Would you leave your house with the front door open? Probably not. Yet, so many businesses do not think about security when building reports or modeling data. Who has access? Who can modify it? Who can use and how? Here's what you need to remember. Define role-based access controls. Not everyone should see everything. Marketing department is not interested in finance objects. Sales department and SaaS might not access the product metrics. Analysts should access the model or specific contexts. Business users should be able to report on what is exactly shared with them, not the whole data warehouse. Data security isn't optional. Protecting your data prevents major compliance risks and costly mistakes. And there you have it. We walked through 8 of the biggest mistakes people make when building data models, from ignoring key stakeholders to forgetting about data governance and security. The key takeaway from today's video: a well-structured data model doesn't complicate reporting. It empowers the entire business. It eliminates manual work, ensures accuracy, and allows everyone, from analysts to business users, to get insights faster. Now, are you ready to stop struggling with data and empower the whole business with self-service reports? Start using OWOX BI today for free. What are you waiting for? 10+ pre-built data modeling and templates for different industries. Data modeling as an instrument designed specifically so you and your team collaborate around it. Use it as a single source of truth and build reports that actually drive decisions. And finally, self-service analytics so business teams can get answers on their own. Link in the description. Get started right now. Oh, before you go, tell me in the comments which of these mistakes, 1 to 8, have you seen in your company? Let's talk about it, and I might even cover one of those mistakes in a separate video. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because I have even more dive tips on data modeling, analytics, and business intelligence coming soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Yevgen from OWOX, and as always, stay data-driven, stay curious, and happy analyzing.